Who lives, who dies, and who dares to change everything? The season 2 finale of The Kai didn't just close a chapter, it blew the whole book wide open, with betrayal, heartbreak, and a game-changing decision that could shift the entire series. This wasn't just an ending, it was a warning shot for what is coming next. Fans are reeling, characters are spiraling, and if you thought you knew where this story was headed, think again. Season 2 of The Kai was already building pressure like a ticking time bomb, but the finale, it detonated everything we thought. We knew the streets of Southside Chicago were never safe, but this time, it wasn't just gun politics or turf wars, it was personal, and no one saw it coming. Emmett found himself staring down the barrel of choices he thought he'd never have to make. His journey this season has been one of growth, struggle, and regret. We watched him try to build a future, only to be dragged backward by his past, but in the finale, his silence screamed louder than words. That final moment, that look in his eyes, it was the face of a man who knows he just crossed a line he can't uncross. Whether it was loyalty, love, or pure survival, Emmett made a call that fractured more than just relationships. It shook the foundation of who he thought he was. Meanwhile, Duda's empire is crumbling, and he is not going down without taking someone with him. The power he once held like a crown now feels like a noose tightening around his own neck. The finale gave us glimpses of a man who knows the wolves are closing in, but instead of running, he is baiting them closer. Whether that is bravery or madness is up for debate, but one thing is clear. His enemies aren't just rivals anymore. They're people with nothing left to lose. And speaking of people pushed to their limits, Keisha's arc was one of the most emotionally raw this season. Her resilience has always been her strength, but in the finale, it is her vulnerability that breaks your heart. The way she stood in the aftermath, strong, silent, and shattered, reminded everyone why she remains the soul of this story. She is no longer fighting to escape pain. She is learning to live with it, and maybe even find peace on her own terms. Jake and Gemma's relationship was already hanging by a thread, but the events of the finale might have snapped it completely. Betrayal doesn't always come with violence. Sometimes it walks in the room quietly and changes everything. Jake's loyalty was tested in a way that left viewers torn. Did he do the right thing, or did he just do what was easiest? As for Gemma, she is done being overlooked. Her silence this season has been louder than ever, and now that she is finally ready to speak, the truth she is carrying could burn bridges that will never be rebuilt. But the real twist came from someone no one expected, a quiet player, always watching, always calculating. It finally made a move, and that move turned the finale into something unforgettable. It wasn't just about who died or who walked away. It was about who changed forever, and that is what made this ending hurt so much. Now, with the city in chaos, alliances shattered, and revenge simmering beneath the surface, fans are left wondering, is this the end of redemption for our favorite characters, or is it the beginning of something even darker? Just when fans thought the chaos in The Kai had settled, the final moments of Season 2 reminded everyone why this show has never been about comfort. The shockwaves of Duda's downfall are still rumbling through the streets of Chicago. With his empire collapsing and enemies on all sides, his final fate left viewers frozen, shocked, bleeding, and betrayed. His fall was both expected and devastating, but the real twist, he wasn't the only one targeted. Someone else in the inner circle is gone, someone nobody thought would be touched. That moment flipped the table. It was never just about Duda's empire, it was about what happens when power finally meets consequences. Meanwhile, Emmett is on edge. The trauma of watching his family get dragged into danger has left scars. He wants peace, a clean slate, but peace doesn't come free in The Kai. His final conversation with Keisha hinted at a decision that could change everything. Will he flee the city, or will he fight for what he loves most? His eyes said one thing, he is tired, but his heart, it is not done yet. Keisha, however, has her own storm brewing. Her strength has been tested season after season, but this time, it is personal. Her decision to protect her family comes at a cost. In the final moments, we saw her stare into the distance, silent, broken, and burning inside. She is not running. If Season 2 begins, it is Keisha who might rise as the protector, not the victim, and isn't there as victor. Once a leader trying to turn the community around, he is now caught between the image he created and the truth he tried to bury. The people are watching him, some still believe in his promise, Others whisper that he is just another player in the same game. His confrontation with the city council was explosive, but the aftermath is unclear. Victor's next steps will define whether he becomes a hero or a cautionary tale. Season 2 also brought Popper's journey full circle. Once the heart and soul of the group, he is now questioning everything: faith, loyalty, love. His heartbreak over the loss of a loved one pushed him to the edge, but in the finale, he seemed more dangerous than broken. That final glare, that silence, it wasn't grief, it was resolve. Popper is about to become something else entirely, and no one is ready. As we look to season 8, one thing is crystal clear: the rules have changed, no one is safe, friendships are fractured, families are hanging by threads, and the city always watching, always changing, wanting wait for anyone. The Kai is no longer about survival, it's about power, loyalty, and the war for the soul of a community. Every character has a choice to make, but not all of them will live to see what happens next. The streets of Chicago have always echoed with more than just noise. They echo with pain, dreams, betrayals, and silent prayers. In season 2, the Kai didn't just give us a story, it gave us a mirror, a reflection of how messy, beautiful, and heartbreaking life can be when you're trying to survive in a world that doesn't always play fair. Every character we followed, Emmett, Keisha, Victor, Popper, they've grown up in front of our eyes. We watched them fall, rise, and fall again. And now, they're standing on the edge of something darker, something deeper. Their choices will not just affect them, they'll shake families, friendships, and the entire community. And as for Duda, his empire may be falling, but his influence, that doesn't just disappear overnight. The power vacuum he leaves behind is dangerous. Who will rise to claim it? And what will it cost? As season 2 closes its final chapter, we're left with more questions than answers. But maybe that's the point, because the Kai has never been about wrapping things up neatly. It has been about the journey, the fight to love, to live, to be seen, to be free. So now we wait not just for season 8, but for the storm it is bringing. Because if there is one thing this show has taught us, it is that in the Kai, nothing stays the same, and no one is untouchable.